The first thing I noticed, I didn't plug in my microphone. A couple months ago, I released a video that was titled 5 Ways to Play Atari Now. Literally, the very next day after I posted that video, Atari announced the Atari 2600, which is supposed to be a faithful reproduction of the original console we all grew up with. So that was kind of cool, but also I thought, well, shoot, my video might just be irrelevant now. But we'll see. We're gonna open this up and see what this is all about. If you haven't seen my video, 5 Ways to Play Atari Now, I'll put it in the notes below, or I think I can link somewhere up here. This is fun to experiment. The funny thing is as soon as it was announced and available for pre-order, I jumped on immediately. I swear I had to be one of the first in line to pre-order this. And they were supposed to start shipping in November. And I waited, and other people started getting theirs, and I waited, and it was a week into December already, and last Sunday, I went ahead and contacted Atari, and I'm just like, cancel the whole order. I don't know if I need to spend all the money on this, especially since I have those 5 other ways, and obviously there are more, but 5 other ways to play Atari, such as my original console. I really like my RetroN. As soon as I contacted them and say just cancel it, that night I got a notification my order was being shipped, which was on a Sunday. And a week later, I finally got it in the mail. I'm probably a little late to the game on unpacking this and giving my 2 cents, but what's an extra 2 cents out there? It's been a busy fall. I have not been able to make too many videos, but you can see I got a lot of new content that I want to get to. Games I want to play, review, and let you guys know about them. This series I'm particularly excited about, a series that I got from Brazil recently. The graphics and everything look incredible, and I really like the design of the boxes and art. On the other side, Atari also put out some new games. Like this is a new Atari 2600 title put out by Atari, Mr. Run and Jump, and then of course they made like a Berserk enhanced edition. And then I thought, why did I order this? It's cool that they kept with the original artwork and everything, but Berserk wasn't one of my favorite games, and I guess we'll have to see how they enhanced it. But I got it for you guys so I can show you what it's all about, and then you can decide if you want to get one or not. Again, extra joystick. This box comes with the paddles and 4 games and 1 cartridge. The 4 games are Breakout, Canyon Bomber, Night Driver, Video Olympics. So 4 games in this one. Very disappointed it didn't come with Warlords, but nobody asked me. The first thing I noticed when I unboxed this is I thought, the box is really small for a faithful reproduction. So it's certainly smaller than what a console, or an original console, was. Anyway, the Atari 2600 Plus, the new faithful reproduction that Atari just put out. This is basically backwards compatible, so it will play your old Atari 2600 cartridges. So if you have some laying in a closet, or you got a retro video game store close to you, you can grab some of those old cartridges, plug it into this, supposedly, and it worked. Same thing with Atari 7800 games. You can plug those into here and supposedly play those as well. So there you go. That's the console, Atari logo, which must feel nostalgic to many of you. But yeah, it's certainly much smaller form factor than what we're used to. Just for comparison, let's put it up to an old 6-switcher here. So that's the original 6-switcher. And here is the new Atari 2600 Plus. You can see much smaller. Well, it's smaller than the original, so not too faithful of a reproduction. It has the same design and everything, just in a smaller format. The back also looks about the same, where you have the 2 RS-232 ports for your joysticks. once the 4 switchers came out, they put the difficulties on the back, so that matches what's on there. HDMI cable instead of the antenna cable. Oh, this sets the aspect ratio for your TV, 16:9 or 4:3. We like the original, so we'll put it on a 4:3. And then it looks like a USB-C power. I don't see anything for an micro SD card or anything, so far I'm thinking RetroN has a leg up on that one so far, because the RetroN has the SD card. You can put a bunch of ROMs on, plug it into the RetroN, and all your games are available to play. But we'll also try the Halo cartridge, which is the same thing. It's a cartridge that plugs into this, has an SD micro slot on it where you can load up a bunch of ROM games onto it and play them directly off that cartridge. All right, there you go. Atari 2600 original, Atari 2600 Plus. Let's plug it in and see what we got. The first thing I'm going to do is just turn it on without a cartridge and see how that compares to like the RetroN, which would go to its own interface. There we go, Atari logo. And loading game failed. So it looks like this is probably 100% reliant on cartridges. So no SIM card, no interface built in. So we'll turn it back off again, and let's try the cartridge it comes with, the 10-in-1 games. And we're going to pick Adventure. So I'm just going to turn all of the dip switches on, which that's what comes with by default. So we'll plug this in, turn it on. Certainly not instantaneous, but here you go. If you have not had an Atari 2600 console since you were young, well, you can pick up one of these and you're off and playing Adventure again. So that's kind of cool. Let's put it on 2 and well, he got something else and the dragon's coming. Let's try another one. I'm gonna try Real Sports Volleyball, since 1, I'm real curious why they decided to include that game with this, and 2, I've never played it before, so maybe I'm missing something. Okay, so I counted to almost 20 for the game to pop up. If you remember, on the original console, put a game in, turn the switch on, it's instantaneous, that game comes on. This one takes a little while to load, which it's not that bad of a thing, but I mean, honestly, if you don't have access to any of the other ways to play Atari that I mentioned in that previous video, this is certainly an option for everybody. So, and it's cool. It's, yes, a smaller form factor, but it is pretty accurate. Well, it's real accurate, just a smaller form factor. So I guess they included this to remind people how much some of their games sucked. I'm good. So here's something that I've been really wondering about. This is the Harmony cartridge that you can put ROMs on this SD card. ROMs are basically the program files for cartridges. Put them on here, and if you plug this into an original console, so you put it on the SD card and plug this into your original console, and it pulls up all the games on an interface for you to select and play. So I think I have hundreds of games on here. You'll see in the other video, once the menu comes up, you have access to select whatever game you want. And I put all the original Atari games on here. So let's see if I can plug this in. And this doesn't have the original architecture inside. It's certainly running an emulator. So let's see. And we got to wait for the whole power up thing. Yeah, it doesn't even come up with the Atari logo. Okay. Nope. Incompatible with the Harmony. Here's one game I've been playing a little bit that I was going to do a video on soon. Dragon Chalice. This is made by Millie Games. recent homebrew that came out. Let's try Dragon Chalice in this. I know for a fact it does not work in my RetroN. Oh, look at that. So when I was going to make my video, I got the ROM file for this so I could record it, but if it works directly from the cartridge on this console, again, it did not work on the RetroN, then I can record it with the cartridge. We'll pick NTSC. Alright, this will be a preview. We're going to do a more full review later. But we're the dragon here. I'll have to review names and everything. But I think we got the chalice was stolen and we got to go retrieve it. So you can pull switches, etc. Anyway, so far I've enjoyed trying to learn this game, but hey, we'll get into this one more a little later. Seems challenging, and well, some of us like here comes the wizard. Some of us like a game that will give us a good challenge, and so far I think this is on a list for one of those. There's also a lot of difficulty levels and worlds and stuff. So anyway, I got to review the instructions again. We'll go through that one a little later. So 2 points for the Atari 2600 Plus. It did play Dragon's Chalice. I grabbed 2 more games I'm about to do videos on, and these did not work on my RetroN either, so I did have to obtain ROMs for this. So I was able to get the demo ROM for this, which pretty much would show much of the game. Have to get the ROMs because that's the only way I can record a high quality video for you through my DVR, since I have to record through my RetroN. But with an HDMI cord like the RetroN, I could record from this. This can be an alternative to the RetroN if it does happen to play a lot of the homebrews. So let's try this. I have the demo ROM pack that was going to have to do for my review of this game to come soon, and this one, although I bought the game and the cartridge in the box, I still had to go buy the ROM for this. So I have the ROM loaded up in the RetroN ready to do a video, but let's see if that ROM is actually necessary. Let's see if the Atari 2600 can play these Atari Age homebrews. So here's Unholy. Got the logo. Bummer. Unholy, not compatible. Escape from the Castle. This is the one I had to purchase the ROM pack for. If it works in this, then there was no reason for me to purchase the ROM pack. Bummer. Escape from the Castle. Incompatible. Just for fun, let me grab a few of those other games I just got in and we'll test those. Let's see if some of these work. And then we will explore some of the original cartridges. So I have some of the later games, Pitfall 2 and Hero, along with some classics, including the game Everybody Should Give a Second Chance. So let's see. Let's continue to test the compatibility. All right, let's try Zark Star's Nebula. Very cool cartridge. I just opened this, so I haven't even had a chance to look at it, but I am pretty excited to try this series. Nice, nice. Oh. Oh, okay, I see what we got to do here. Not sure exactly, but obviously we have something to break through up here. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing. I'll read the instructions later, do a video on that later. So, Zark Stars, Nebula, compatible. Here's another game I just got in yesterday, Oozy the Goo. Looks like a pretty fun little maze quest type game. Haven't played it before, just opened it. Let's see if this one's compatible. Oozy the Goo. Takes so long to load, but this one actually loaded. Once upon a time, blah, blah, blah. I'm not sure what I haven't read the instructions yet, so I'm not sure the point. So far, looks like a fun, cool game. Okay, so I hit that switch, these things stopped. We can continue. I'm sure we don't want to run into that guy. All right, well, this game looks fun. Ah, son of a gun. Okay, well, for what we're doing here, I could probably go on playing that a little bit longer, but Uzi the Goo, compatible. Let's try one more Homebrew. Another one I just got in recently. Okay, this one, it's called Grizzards, another Atari Age Homebrew. Looked interesting enough for me to buy, so again, haven't opened this up. We're just seeing if it's compatible in the Atari 2600 Plus. They don't load very fast on this. Oh no! Let me try one more time. Maybe wasn't seated good. Man, this takes a long time just to see if the game works. Nope. Well, Grizzards not compatible, unfortunately. That means I'll probably have to find the ROM pack for this, so when I do a video, I can put it on the RetroN. A few other things to test here. Let's try Pitfall 2. Again, these were later games that didn't work with some of the cartridge dumps like the RetroN and other emulators like that. Well, I don't think Pitfall 2 is loading, but sometimes these contacts get really old. Try it one more time. If I remember correctly, Pitfall 2 did not work in the RetroN. I don't think we're getting it here. Let's try Hero. Oh, look, Hero works. If you haven't played this game, you need to. Oh yeah, you gotta put dynamite down and run away there. Again, yeah, if you haven't played this game, certainly worth trying. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Anyway, it's not a demo of Hero. I got a video on that in case you're interested. So Hero is compatible. And then we got just some good old classics here, like I mentioned earlier, the game Everybody. Should give a second chance. Just be sure to put the difficulty on, I forget, there was a certain switch you had to do to make the game much easier than what it came default. I do have a video of some of my favorite Atari games, and this actually made it in there. So if you're curious to see what I think about this game, then you should check out my top 10. Oh look, I just happened into a piece of the phone. Anyway, the difficulty switch that you need to consider doesn't have these guys chasing you around, which makes the game considerably easier. See, that's what everybody hated, is those folks getting you too easily and falling into the pits, which you can avoid. Okay, I'm putting this one in just primarily because it's so classic. When it comes up on the screen, it just brings back a lot of memories, because this is one of the games that everybody had. Same thing with Asteroid, so I'll plug that one in. There we go. So everybody probably remembers having this in their repertoire. I just put it on difficulty 3, but let's try Asteroids. So yeah, so far, most of the originals work. I'll have to test Pitfall on my real unit. So, Asteroids works. Just tested Pitfall 2 on my original Atari 2600. Worked just fine, so it's not the contact, so I'm going to try it one more time in the Atari 2600 Plus. Nope, so we can say definitively Pitfall 2 is an original cartridge that does not work in the Atari 2600 Plus. I guess one other thing we need to do is see what Berserk Enhanced Edition's all about. A little skeptical on this. So this is Berserk Enhanced. I'm not seeing Enhanced Edition. I don't know what's enhanced. Oh. Dang. Okay. They added some voice to it. I wonder... One thing I'm noticing is the graphics are, you know, sharp and solid because of the HDMI, but no scan lines. I wonder if there's an option to do scan lines on here. So far the enhanced piece of this game appears to be the voice. Other than that, I don't think I needed to purchase this game again. The only reason to have this in your collection is for the sake of collecting, I guess. Oh man. Anyway, you get it. We still got Run and Jump for the Atari 2600, but I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna save this for a different video. So last we're gonna try is the paddles. You can buy the paddles for the Atari 2600 Plus, or if your old one needs new paddles, you can certainly get this. We're going to test the Atari 2600 4-in-1 game cartridge. This is the one that came with the paddles. It came with 4 games. I don't know why only 4. That seems to be short-sighted, especially since this doesn't really come with a lot of awesome games. Just break out your closest one, but Warlords would have been nice to include on this one. Oh, this is nice. It's kind of a little bit more tight, where it feels more responsive. This definitely feels enhanced, like it's way more responsive and easier to control than the previous ones. So that's cool. Let's go ahead and try Breakout with this. Oops. I think that's all we're gonna test for today. I guess I need to think, well, what do I think about the unit itself? I think it's cool Atari came out with the Atari 2600 again, so it gives everybody an opportunity to purchase an Atari and relive some of the nostalgia that they had playing Atari when they were young. Again, if you have some cartridges in your closet, or perhaps a retro gaming store nearby, you can pick up some old Atari 2600 cartridges and start playing this. It's limited to some of the other Atari emulation consoles you can get out there right now, such as the RetroN. I think I prefer the RetroN because that still allows you to customize. I put Stella, which is an Atari emulator, on to my RetroN. The RetroN has the SD card slot, so you can put ROMs on that SD card and fill it up with as many games as you want and play the ROMs. The only thing is, the two really disappointing things with this is, one, no SD card support to put ROMs if you wanted to go that route, because there's a lot of great content out there that is only available in ROMs, and much of it is free. So short-sighted that it's not going to support the homebrew community that helped probably bring this back. The community is what generated enough interest to bring this back, and there's not a lot of support for that community, especially since the emulator does not work with a lot of the homebrews that we tested. No SD card support, like I mentioned, so you're basically stuck with whatever games they come out with now, or most of the older games. But again, we identified Pitfall 2 won't work, and as far as I know now, the original console with the original circuitry inside is really the only way that you can ensure all homebrews will work, other than getting the ROMs and putting the ROM on that SD card. A cartridge for a homebrew may not work in the RetroN. However, it will work if you put it on the SD card and from the ROM file. So that's just something to keep in mind. I hope that makes sense. Again, is it cool? Yes, this is something very cool. You know, if you want to go to your family's house and relive some nostalgia, bring one of these with some cartridges, hook it up to the TV, and you're off and running. So it's cool that the Atari 2600 has become available to the masses once again, without having to go to eBay and find an old console that may not work. I think for the most people, the Atari 2600 Plus will certainly be a lot of fun to whoever wants to relive their childhood when they used to play and love Atari games. So I think for that, it's solid for most of the folks out there. If you want to get a little bit more in depth and be a part of that homebrew community a little bit more, it really doesn't support that. So you're just going to have a lot of different consoles like me. I guess that's it. There's the Atari 2600 Plus. It didn't really blow me away in any way, but, well, it's there, and honestly, this is probably what the Mini should have been many years ago. If you could, go ahead and subscribe so you get notified. I'd love to share a lot of the games that I'm going to be reviewing soon, and I'm sure you'll like to see those, see how they play, and see if that's something that you'll want to try out as well. So if you want to see some of the games I try out and review, go ahead and subscribe. Certainly would appreciate it, and we'll catch you on the next video. Bye.